going to start by kind of introducing each of you, and what I would like you to introduce not only your name and your current title, but I would love to hear how you got interested in emerging tech. And let's start with that. Let's start with your name, title, and how you got interested in emerging tech.
Right. So I'm Arjun Mishra. I've been in blockchain and AI since I think 13 years now. So since 2011. I mean, one of the pioneers in the industry. Luckily, we got a chance in a couple of countries to implement some of the largest implementations of blockchain. Currently, we process like 70 billion transactions a month, per month. And so in India, we shifted the entire telecommunications industry in blockchain. Every call or message that goes across actually is on blockchain. And similarly, multiple different use cases we implemented in the last few years. And again, very looking forward to how GBA and other communities have been helping the industry.
Yeah, absolutely. I would like to know, and I think that the audience would be interested in, what technology project have you been involved with in the Web3 space that excited you the most? I would love to know what that application was, and if you're finished with it.
Yeah, so I founded a company called Villages, as I mentioned. So what we did there was, in India there is a core problem that every message that goes across could have a link, URL link, or there could be phishing calls that go across to people, and then they end up getting scammed. So that was a major problem that the government was also foreseeing. The financial fraud that was happening was so high that it was more than the whole size of the whole telecommunication industry combined. So it was in, I think, $25 billion worth of losses were happening to consumers. So with the implementation, we reduced the financial frauds by 92%. So that was the metric that it came down to. And similar implementations in different countries like Singapore and Dubai that have happened have really helped us really implement the solutions in the government sector.
Good. As you think about the future for each of your areas, what is the number one hurdle that you feel that your state or locality or company are facing in achieving a future that really adopts emerging tech at a broad scale? What's your number one hurdle that you see that needs to be addressed?
So in this aspect, I would like to say that from a user perspective, right? So there are two issues. I think there are two problems why the adoption is so slow. One is the user experience itself. We are all trying to make the technology too technical. Whenever we are trying to talk to the government or even between ourselves as businesses, we all try to put in so many technical terms in the whole subject matter, and even the user interface of the products, if you see. It is very hard to use these blockchain products. I mean, using a Web3 product would be like going to a MetaMask, doing 10 number of actions. I mean, if you can get rid of all of this and come back to a standard platform of how Web2 businesses and their interfaces work, or how they talk to businesses, or how they talk to government, right? So they talk to government in terms of general value additions that they're doing, bringing forward for the government. And that's how all of the crypto industry or the Web3 industry also needs to do. Instead of talking very technical or how the whole technology itself will work. The second thing that I see in this is the crypto and DLT, as Liz was mentioning. They are very, I think the education is lacking in this area, wherein a lot of people get confused between these two and they use them synonymously, but they are not actually. And making the governments and the top executives understand this is what it is going to take.
No, I think that's fantastic. I want to highlight those three things because as someone who's been in this space in government for a while, every one of the things that you said really resonated with me. So let's underscore that for folks. I honestly don't think we could have scripted this better.
Right. I think the whole thing will start with shifting the identity use case on blockchain. I think with that use case, we can cater to a lot of problems, as Liz was also saying. You can have multiple data points coming on together to a single individual. You can have a beginning of interconnected world when a single person's identity, your own citizenship data starts coming onto a single platform. I mean, I can ask you, today even a single individual cannot prove that he does not have a criminal case against him. I mean, if I'm sitting here, I cannot prove that. There is no application that I can pull out and show that. And if you have to do that, you have to go to police verification or n number of processes that are there. The matter is that the data is so fragmented all across, right? You're not able to aggregate that data and reconcile it. And I think that is the future. All of this fragmented data coming together to a single point and getting connected to the individual. It could be healthcare data, it could be his own banking, financial data, and all of the fragmented state data. Yeah.
I think that's great. I wanted to ask what specific legislation, so whether this is at a state level, a federal level, or what law needs to be passed. I would say one, maybe two examples of what you think would help you individually, or perhaps if you've already done this, what advice would you give to other governmental entities? How do they get started? What is the most critical legislation that either you're facing or you would recommend?
I completely agree. I think working closely with the agencies or the regulators of that specific industry is very important, as well as coordinating with the local associations or blockchain associations like the GBA itself would definitely help get streamlined whether actually a regulation is required or not for that particular project to be done. Apart from that, I think most of the use cases where the financial regulation where the regulation has to be done is in the financial industry, wherein if you have a product which is actually dealing, for example, with the money transmitter law or any of the cross-border transactions that is being catered. I think for those cases, governments, state government or a federal government could come up with a regulatory sandbox, which would definitely help out the businesses execute that.
So I appreciate the work that you have done.